welcome one and all to the very first edition of Real Debates. Here we let two huge movie fans battle it out for bragging rights supremacy. I'm your host, Walter Brazzale. Let's go ahead and introduce our debaters for today's show. Sitting to my left is a very good friend to our Real Reviews discussions. He's a big comic book fan and movie aficionado. Ladies and gentlemen, Imp It Ain't Easy, Mr. Bryan Porter.
Hello.
Are you ready for our good old-fashioned debate, Bryan?
I'm ready for a nice butt kicking over there.
It's getting heated already. Okay.
Ready
And
to
sitting
go.
to my right, he is a first-timer on one of our Real Review shows. He's also a big comic book fan and loves chicken balls in his soup. Gentlemen and ladies, Mr. Frederick Brazzale. Any fighting words for Bryan over here, Frederick?
I'll tell you what, Bryan, my butt is firm and it's ready for you to try and kick it.
You got it. I'm going to get on a step stool and try and get up there.
This is going to be amazing. I can't wait to get started. Okay, all right, so it's almost time to get down to the debating here, guys. But first, let's go over the rules. We have 5 topic discussion rounds that these two have prepared for. For every round, we'll hear a 1-minute opening argument from each debater. After both of the debaters have presented their opening arguments, they can go back and forth on why their point of view is better than the other. At the end of every round, I will award 2 points to the person who I believe presented the best argument. After those 5 rounds are done, we will move on to the lightning round, where the debaters will be asked a series of movie trivia questions worth 1 point each. The debater with the most points at the end of the game wins.
Me.
Everybody clear on the rules?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let's debate. For real. Okay. First up, guys, this is our In the News round. This round features current film news-related topics. And in the news recently, Kevin Smith just announced his intentions to make Mallrats 2. The question here is, as a filmmaker, does Kevin Smith have anything left to offer at this point in his career? We're going to start off with Bryan. You got 1 minute. We're going to get you timed up here. Ready? And go.
I think he absolutely has something left to offer. Just because Mallrats 2 is coming out, people are kind of like, I don't think that's going to go well. I think you have to look for what he has done that doesn't include like Jay and Silent Bob. Look at Tusk, look at Red State, look at Zack and Miri, look at Cop Out. Those were all great films. I really liked them. They showcased his diversity in filmmaking. Red State was insane. Like, that was a crazy film that you would not expect from him. So I think he's got way more of that to come, and I'm really excited for it.
Okay. That's all your opening argument? That we're going to go?
It was pretty short.
It was pretty short, but you're good with that?
You want me to add a little more?
No, yeah, if you're all right.
All right, that'll work.
Ready?
One over your head,
Ready
short joke.
Oh,
Ready
okay.
for your opening?
I think so.
Here we go. Go ahead.
He absolutely, I'll agree with Bryan here. He has a lot to offer, and I think the big thing is he's only 44 years old, so you can't count him out. He's still young, and with the way things are going with comic book movies right now, especially the huge, they've blown up in movies. They're everywhere, and he's a huge comic book fan, so you can't tell me nowhere down the line is he going to be able to work with Marvel or DC, and he's going to come out with something relevant. And besides Mallrats 2, they announced Clerks 3 was in pre-production.
Yes.
So he's got all this stuff coming out. It's going to be a big make-or-break time for Kevin Smith. If Mallrats 2 and Clerks 3 bomb, he might very well be done, but I think there's too much going on right now that you can't count him out.
Okay.
I don't think Clerks 3 is going to bomb solely because he started that 20 plus years ago with Clerks, and then he comes out, and so he shows these characters in the various stages of life. Early 20s, very still adolescent with the way that they spoke, and then in their 30s in Clerks 2, they're just trying to get settled in life, and then Clerks 3 is going to be all about after they've had kids and been married.
Yeah.
So I think they have a really long way to go with these characters. Now I wouldn't revisit any of the other ones like Mallrats 2 because I don't think there's any substance there, but I think he's going to be doing good with Clerks 3.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely excited for it. Because it kind of shows the kind of filmmaker he is. He doesn't just make sequels because the studio's like, oh, we got to make a sequel, we got to make a trilogy, we got to make money off it. He's taking the time to write the story the right way as an artist rather than just we need money, so let's make another Clerks or another Mallrats.
What do you think about Mallrats 2? Do you think he should make it or no? You say no.
I think he should, just because it was such a, it's a cult classic, so fans want to know what happens beyond just the story that we've been told in that one movie.
Why? Give me a little bit more. Why do you think Mallrats would be successful now? A sequel to Mallrats.
As far as now?
Yeah.
Because I think it's the same thing as Clerks. We grew up with those characters when we were younger, so now that we're older, I feel like people want to know what's going on. So as we grow up, they're growing up, and that's why people go to see movies. They want to, see
age with the characters.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you got?
I don't think that Mallrats 2 is going to work as well because the characters weren't as substantial as, like, say, Clerks. So I think, like, I love Mallrats. I've been a fan of it since I was a kid. You know, I love it. But I think it's a good movie as a standalone movie. It doesn't need anything else. You know, the way it ended, it was perfect. It was perfect for that movie, for those characters. And I think revisiting is just going to, you know, just kind of drag those characters down a little bit. So I think he should just leave it.
Do you guys think that he should be making new movies not based off his other properties? Go ahead.
Aside from Clerks 3, I think he should give other movies a shot because, like I said, Red State.
Right. Red State and Tusk he has been, and he's already in production on that Yoga Hosier's movie, which is in that same universe. Frederick, what do you got to say about that?
No, I absolutely would like to see him do other stuff. I think he's, you know, such a great filmmaker and writer and whatnot that he should be involved with a lot of other projects, dip his hand in everything. He's such a huge comic book fan. I would really like to see him work with, you know, Marvel or DC or something that has to do with. There's so many TV shows and movies that he can write for.
Okay. All right, I think I'm going to have to call this one. This is really close. You guys are basically on the same front here, but I think that Porter is a little bit more in, made a little bit better of an argument, so I'm going to give him the 2 points on this one. Clerks, I think, is about the only one that he should be revisiting as well. With the way you guys present your arguments, I just think Mallrats, it is a cult classic, but I just don't know if it'll be as successful. Maybe it's a straight-to-video thing, but I think it's going to be a full theatrical release. So I think Porter just barely edged you out there, Frederick, but good job there, guys.
Thank you.
We're going to go on to round 2 here. Our second round is our pitch round, and this is going to be fun. Here, our debaters create a story for a scenario. Today's scenario, how would you guys bring the X-Men into the Marvel Cinematic Universe? We're going to start with Frederick. Whenever you're ready, Frederick.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's the obvious answer. And what 2 characters are in the Marvel Universe right now that also share equal time in the X-Men universe? The twins, the Maximoff twins. So with them, you introduce their father, Magneto, who's arch enemies with Professor X, who's the leader of the X-Men. Instead of just like shoehorning in characters, because Hugh Jackman's a huge popular Wolverine, and they'll be like, oh, we got to get Hugh Jackman in here. And they'll just kind of try to throw him in a story somewhere. And then this is like what he said, this is his last Wolverine
That's
outing.
what he says,
so,
but he's been going back and forth on that for a long time.
So then
we'll
you
see
run
if
the
that
risk,
happens.
if you throw him in there, you run the risk of having to recast Wolverine down the line as opposed to if you just started off fresh, which I think Marvel's trying to do because now they got Spider-Man, they're trying to edge away from Andrew Garfield, and they're trying to get a whole new fresh start on all the properties that they're coming into now as opposed to all the Avengers. I feel like that would be the right way as opposed to just throwing in characters and like now you got to tell their backstory again after we've seen it so many times.
Okay, we're going to go to Porter. Go ahead.
All right, I think that they should, since with Days of Future Past they fixed the timeline, I think they should revisit the Phoenix Saga, but do it correctly like they did in the 90s cartoons. Have the Phoenix entity coming to Earth, and the Avengers kind of pick up on that. They go to X-Men like, hey, what's going on? It's heading towards you guys, and X-Men are like, you know what? We don't trust you. We got it. So the Phoenix comes. It takes over Jean Grey like it does. She beats the hell out of them like she does, and then when they try to fix it, this is where I bring in something from Avengers versus X-Men, a comic book storyline from a couple years ago. The Phoenix Force goes from Jean Grey and splits into 4 other X-Men.
Okay.
So now you've got 5 superpowered, Phoenix-powered X-Men. The Avengers are like, oh crap, we told you so. Now we're going to come and clean up your mess. I think that would be a great clash to see all of them fight each other and eventually, you know, beat the Phoenix and then come out on top all as like allies and whatnot. I think it would be a very intense movie.
Okay, that's your 1 minute there. Frederick, why is your idea better than Brian's?
Well, I do like the Phoenix Force thing, just for the fact that I would love to see Cyclops, one of my favorite characters, you know, come to the forefront because he was really mishandled in the X-Men trilogy.
I agree with that.
And in the Phoenix Force storyline, he got part of the Phoenix Force, so he was big in the storyline. And but you know, it's been done already. X-Men 3, they did it. So you're just going to rehash old ideas and throw it in a movie and then call it a day?
And that is still technically in canon, correct? X-Men
Yeah,
3,
they fixed the story.
They fixed the storyline, but I mean, it still did happen somewhere in that universe.
Yes.
True, I guess you can see that, but to me as a big fan of the Phoenix Saga, that wasn't the Phoenix Saga. That was a poor attempt at it. So for like fans like me that are really big, I know it's been done before, but to see it done right would be worth seeing it again.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to see them done right, but I think you have to do it the right way where you have to start off fresh and then kind of work your way there. You can't just like, bam, this is the X-Men, bam, Phoenix Force. You know, you got to work your way into it instead of just, because then the Phoenix Force comes in and then obviously people know who the X-Men are, but you still, in the movie, you have to kind of give them another backstory. So it's going to be.
Well, I mean, you've what, 4 X-Men movies already over the past 10 years?
But
so, I mean,
Spider-Man movies retell his origin over and over again.
Yeah, but like with Marvel, they're not going to be retelling his origin except for a very small cutscene in the new one. So, you mean, they already made it a point to say, you know Spider-Man, we're going to get straight to it. We're not going to give you this whole big backstory, origin story. You know, we're going to give you a little bit on his background within the first 10 minutes of the movie, and then we're going to move on. They can do the same thing with the X-Men and have it flow really well.
That's very possible. I just think it's been there, done that. Let's do something new. Because there's a lot of great storylines. But they still haven't done anything with Mr. Sinister. They still need to do a real brother.
Right. There's a whole lot of characters that aren't used. I think we need to wrap this round up. But
this was like the big one.
I know. I'm still going to ask you guys some stuff here. So would you rather have the Avengers or somebody else from the Marvel Universe cross into an X-Men movie first or vice versa? Frederick, what do you think?
I think that the right way to do it would have someone from the X-Men cross over into the Marvel Universe first, as an end credit scene, with the twins.
Right.
Have them meet their father, Magneto.
Okay.
And then, you include the X-Men somewhere along the lines in there.
Okay, Porter.
I actually agree. I think that would be the best way to go because the Marvel banner is so big and they're doing it so well. I think incorporating something into that would make it a lot a better chance to actually survive.
Right.
Take them and put them into the Fox banner, X-Men. I don't think that would work as well.
Well, they have to get some kind of joint thing like Sony for this actually happened. Okay, I'm going to call this round. This was the great pitches, guys. I really like those. I think I'm going to give it to Frederick on this one. So Frederick will get the 2 points. I just think that with those already established characters with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch going to be in this new Avengers movie, that I think it'll be a little bit easier for them to integrate in. But I don't think as many people, I think a lot of people do, but I don't think as many common folk, quote unquote, know about the Phoenix Saga and everything, and they would be kind of confused, especially if it already happened in that universe in some capacity. So,
what a great storyline.
But both would work. I just think Frederick's would be a little bit more easy.
Would flow well.
Yeah, it would flow a little bit better. So I'm going to give Frederick the 2 points on that. So it's 2-2 heading into round 3. Good debates, guys. Okay, so time for round 3. This is our best/worst of round. I pick an actor or director, and you debaters pick and defend what their best/worst movie is. Today, we are asking, what's the worst Adam Sandler movie? We're going to go with Porter first.
From all the ones that I've actually seen, I'm going to go ahead and say Grown Ups. Now, I know there's a bunch of other ones that you think were just stupid. People think it was like, oh my God, that wasn't even, but that's the draw of Adam Sandler to me. He makes stupid movies. That's how he started. His movies with substance are okay.
You can't argue that.
He makes stupid movies. That's how he started. Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, stupid movies. Little Nicky, stupid movies. That's their draw. That's their draw. I want to watch a stupid movie. I don't want some substance with, Adam Sandler's good because he can deliver, but you know what? Adam Sandler, stick to this stupid crap. I like it.
Okay. And we're going to go over to Frederick. Go ahead.
Without question, Jack and Jill. First film ever in 2012. It swept the Razzies, won every Razzie award. It's just way too much Adam Sandler in one movie because he's always best when he's got his crew with him. Wedding Singer, Happy Gilmore, Bill. He's got his guys with him and they're all working off each other. When he's playing 2 parts in the same movie and he's just Adam Sandler and Adam Sandler and Adam Sandler, it's too much.
Okay. Why do you think that yours is worse than Frederick's?
I don't know. I think it was a poor attempt at previous type of movies. He brought the old crew together, but it's there were some funny parts, but just the whole family type, this and that, going back to your roots, it seemed kind of forced to me.
Sure.
And it's just it was cool to see them all together, but the story behind it just kind of sucked. It wasn't really it was boring. The only parts that I thought were funny were just the interaction of the guys, and most of that stuff was probably ad-lib. The actual story, the storytelling was just boring. The movie itself was boring. So you take out 30 minutes of funny dialogue, and there's the funny part. The rest of the movie is just, all right, I'm done with this, I didn't really like it that much.
Okay, same question.
Well, it was probably the worst movie just because it's, like I said, too much Adam Sandler. You got Adam Sandler as a girl, and then Adam Sandler as a guy, and he's just being Adam Sandler, and it's not enough to make it. It's not enough to make it as a movie. You want to talk about poor writing? Let's just throw Adam Sandler in it. We don't need a script. We'll just do whatever. Yeah, who knows? At least with Grown Ups, you had, like you said, working off each other. If some of the jokes were ad-lib, it was funny because they were together, and it was like the old crew getting back together, which I feel like a lot of people could relate to as far as when you get together with a group of friends and you're out having a good time.
Right.
No one Jack and Jill, what?
What do you guys think about him going like a more serious route like he tried a couple years ago? What do you think he can do to resurrect his character? Because I think right now he's kind of on the low end of the totem pole in terms of not just critical, but I think his fans are starting to come around to like maybe these movies he's making recently aren't that good. Porter, what do you think he can do to turn around?
I mean, if he's going more serious route, Click I thought was actually really good as a serious. No, I mean, it had a lot of comedy to it, but the general tone of the movie and especially the ending really got me. Like, that was a great movie. It was a good serious movie at some points. The script flowed well, and it was a new idea. So it was something that hadn't been done before, for Adam Sandler or anybody else.
So you want him to make like go back to more serious stuff, like mixing in the comedies.
Yeah, I mean that would be a good start for him if he wants to make more stuff like that. Because I think if with the right script, he could do really well with that.
Okay, Frederick, what do you think he'd do to turn around?
I do agree that Click was a fantastic movie, and he does do some serious stuff well, but if Adam Sandler really wants to get back to being Adam Sandler, he needs to make those stupid, funny movies over again. I mean, That's My Boy with Andy Samberg was hysterical.
I love that movie.
Oh, my God. And it was Adam Sandler being stupid, funny Adam Sandler again. If he goes back to that, he can't lose.
Okay. All right, I'm going to have to call this round. Very close, guys. Like, you guys are really tight on all these rounds so far, actually. I think when we're talking about the actual movies and stuff, I think that Porter barely edged him out because you went into a little bit more detail about why Grown-Ups, the bad writing. I mean, that movie really didn't have a story. It wasn't exactly a movie. It was just kind of a series of things that happened while these guys are on vacation, and then they just fall into a river after they hit a tree. I can't remember who did that.
Kevin James.
Kevin James hit a tree and fell into, and then he burp farted or whatever that is. Jack and Jill, terrible, but I think Frederick had to go in a little bit more detail on why, just because Adam Sandler plus Adam Sandler was bad Adam Sandler. I think we could have gotten a little bit more detail, so I'm going to give it to Porter on that one. He takes the lead 4-2 going into round 4. Okay, great job. This is fun.
I like it. I'm excited.
Very excited.
Let's do it.
Very excited. Okay, this is our 4th round. This is our TV round, so topics here are related to television shows, just anything about television shows. All right, debaters. What HBO or Netflix series would make the best movie? I think we're going to start with Frederick this time. Go ahead, Frederick.
Eastbound and Down. It's the perfect thing to go into right now because you look at the way that HBO is handling Entourage. The show ended, and now they're making a movie to kind of wrap everything up because the fans want one. Eastbound and Down was awesome. The series was awesome, and then Danny McBride hasn't done anything in a long time, and I need Danny McBride back in my life in the movies. He was hysterical, and This Is the End. He was great in Hot Rod. He needs to do something, and I feel like Eastbound and Down, revisiting Kenny Powers would be the best option. It would be the best comedy that you could do. It would be the best overall movie of any, because it's so hard to make a TV series into a movie because TV series are TV series for a reason. There's just too much story to tell in that amount of time.
Right.
But I think for a comedy, you can kind of get something in there.
Would you want that to be a sequel to the series or sort of just taking a new angle at it?
You know, it's the way that it ended. I feel like they could probably continue it a little bit and just maybe like have like, something down the line, like he gets back in the major leagues or something. Or there's so many stories that you could tell.
Okay, gotcha. We're gonna go to Porter. Go ahead.
Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. Okay, you see how big it is. It's the biggest HBO show that they have. There's such a huge following. It's the most pirated TV show on the internet just because of how big it is. And it just premiered last night. It was huge, a lot of ratings. And the story itself, what they have on screen, is just pales into comparison to what the story was before, what led up to it. They have so much story to do as far as like a prequel, and most people don't like prequels, but I know the story, the backstory. It is huge, it is epic, and I think it's even on like a more grand scale than Game of Thrones, the show itself. So if you were to throw this into like a 2.5-hour movie, like the first part, like the First Men and the Targaryens and all that stuff, would be one movie, and the second part with Robert's war and rebellion and all that stuff would be a second movie, or whatever. But I think that they could really put a lot of that into it, and I think the fans would love it. I mean, Game of Thrones on the big screen, where can you go wrong with that? So.
Okay, that's your 1 minute there. Go ahead.
I'll tell you where you can go wrong with that. Been there, done that. Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, seen it before. I mean, but it's as far as Game of Thrones goes, it's so massive and it's so huge. To turn it into a movie would you couldn't do it justice with all the stuff that goes into that. That's why it's, what is it, an hour and a half each episode?
Hour.
I feel like you would have to have, because for them to tell a story over a season, they need like 12 episodes. So it's 12 hours right there. And if you condense that to a 3-hour movie, there's just so much that's going to be left out. And that happened kind of a bit with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, because there was some stuff left out in The Hobbit and Return of the King and stuff, just because you can't. It's a lot to fit into a movie.
True, it was a lot to fit in the movies, but look how well it did. It's one of the biggest renowned trilogies ever. Both of them, I would say, but I think Lord of the Rings more, just because I think it's a little bit more classic. But look how well it did at the Academy Awards. Look at how well it did in the box office. Look at the cult following that it has. So yeah, there were long movies. Yeah, there was a lot to put into it, and they did leave out a lot, but it was still amazing movies. Those movies were awesome. I couldn't believe how good they were done. So if you were to take a good director and do that with Game of Thrones, split it up into 3 movies, that would be one of the most epic trilogies ever. That'd be on par with Star Wars. You know, I guarantee you. Shake your head, but I guarantee
I just
you
say
that would be on par with
if it
Star
ain't
Wars.
broke, don't fix it. It's working as a TV series. It's hugely popular. It's got the cult following. It's got all its stuff already. So why tell a movie, or why make a movie when you can expand it and make that into like 3 seasons of a show?
But they're not going to do that. They're not going to do it with a TV show. They're not going to do a prequel TV show. I think that'd be too much.
They
But to
could
do
look at The Walking Dead right now. Walking Dead's making a prequel with a TV show. Why couldn't they?
yeah, but I don't know. Walking Dead prequel just doesn't seem that cool to me. But a Game of Thrones
watch
prequel,
either,
yeah, Game of Thrones prequel on the big screen, like to watch that in IMAX would blow my mind. And I guarantee you, there's tons of fans all over the world that would completely agree with me.
Frederick, give me a little bit more on why Eastbound and Down would be a good movie.
A good movie in
Yeah,
general?
why would it be a good movie?
Just because it's Danny McBride, and it's so much easier to make a comedy, like a TV show comedy, into a movie than it is to make like something on a scale of Game of Thrones into a movie. As you look at SNL sketches, they 3-minute sketches that turned into huge movies.
Yeah.
Wayne's World, Blues Brothers,
Sure.
all the classic ones. Night at the Roxbury. It's so much easier to turn something like that into a movie than it is, or a comedy into a movie, than it is to turn a drama into like the huge big production that it would take to make a Game of Thrones movie.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to call this one. This is, man, you guys are making this really hard, I think.
That's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're here for.
I know, really.
gonna make it
Jeez.
easy.
Okay. I think that you guys both make good arguments about, Game of Thrones obviously has so much material that they could do. They can make movies. They can make a series of movies. They can do whatever they want with any point in that book's history. I mean, there's so many different ways they can go with it. Frederick, Eastbound and Down is a very popular comedy series, especially with Danny McBride, like branching off in other movies,
Yeah.
using This Is the End and things like that. So he's getting bigger too. I do think that, in just on the arguments here, I think Frederick, you shut him down a little bit on a couple things. So I think I'm gonna have to barely give it to Frederick.
Oh man,
Just it's gonna be an
Breaking
argument.
my heart.
I'm sorry.
breaking my heart.
I'm really sorry. I had to give that to Frederick. Really close. I just think he gave it a little bit more, tore you down a little bit more, where you guys were really close, and then he brought you down a little bit.
Well,
I'm right, you're wrong.
Can't
I'm
forgive
big,
this.
you're small, and there's nothing you can do about it.
you watch it. This ankle biter's
Oh my God. Okay. Well, now it is tied 4-4 going into our final topic round.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Okay. All right, you guys
Not
ready
the
for
big
this?
guns on this
I
one.
don't know if I'm ready for this.
This is our mystery round, okay, which is basically, it could be about anything I want.
Dictator Walt over here.
Yep. So today, this is going to be fun.
Okay.
Okay. You guys like Back to the Future, right?
course.
Yeah.
You guys like
doesn't?
Marty McFly, right? Who doesn't love
Absolutely.
Michael J. Fox? Freaking what an awesome dude. What an
In
awesome
general,
actor.
yeah.
We're going to recast Marty McFly with any actor from any era. Any actor, any era, any age. We're going to go to Porter first, I believe, was
Can't be
last.
done.
Are you ready, Porter? Ready? And go ahead, start your opening argument.
First off, this was painful just to think about because I love Michael J. Fox. But
Make it tough on you.
my casting choice, Dylan O'Brien from Teen Wolf, and he's from The Maze Runner. Dylan O'Brien, he has this very good on-screen presence. You know, as a high schooler, that's what he plays in Teen Wolf. He's all over the place. He's hysterical. He can be serious when he needs to be, because like season 4 or whatever, he was this crazy serious villain, and it worked so well. So he's got the acting chops to, be as broad of the spectrum as he needs. And I think he would give a very good breath of life to Marty McFly that Michael J. Fox couldn't quite do. I mean, he was perfect. I mean,
Did you just say Michael J. Fox can't do something?
He was perfect
He did
as
whatever he
Marty
wants.
McFly, but as a
Eating
recasting,
Parkinson's.
as a recasting, breathing new life into a character,
Sure.
something different, I think Dylan O'Brien has it all day.
Gotcha. Okay, that's 1 minute. Frederick, go ahead, start your opening.
I guess Dylan O'Brien. I heard rumors that he might be Spider-Man, and it's fantastic. I love Dylan O'Brien.
Okay.
He's great. Although I will say this. All right, so we're gonna go with some points here. Who played a high schooler in a lot of their movies? Who is around the same age that Michael J. Fox was when he made Back to the Future 1?
I don't know.
Who is looking for a breakout role to kind of distance themselves from past work that they've kind of been stigmatized by?
If you say Miles Teller, I'll kill you.
Zac Efron.
Oh my God, that's
I just
even
blew
worse.
your mind. I know, right? But I mean, yeah, because he's the goofy kid. He plays
Wow.
high school character in all of his movies. And it's I know, right? It was really weird. But
Unexpected.
Very unexpected.
he's looking for that big role to get him out of high school. Like Zac Efron from High School Musical. If he got cast as Marty McFly, and he ran with it, that would open so many doors for him. And now with Neighbors coming out, he's starting to like mature and get out there more. He's getting away from it. There's a lot of comparisons. I mean,
That's all right. That's your
got
1
the hair
minute.
for it.
Okay, why is Dylan O'Brien a better Marty McFly than Zac Efron?
First off, I hate you. Secondly, Zac Efron, are you kidding me? Okay, yeah, I know he needs to break out of his roles, but I do not see him having the, being able to act, being able to deliver a character like Marty McFly with what I've seen him do recently. I liked Neighbors. I liked That Awkward Moment. He was a good character in it, but he didn't have as much depth. He didn't show that he could do a character like Marty McFly. I think he is a very flat, one-dimensional character. Hot guy, a player with women, this and that. I'd say that's all he's probably good for. Maybe he can do some more deep stuff, but I don't think he can do Marty McFly. That's something reserved for actually good actors. So that's why Dylan O'Brien's going to do it, because Dylan O'Brien can show how good and diverse of a characters he can play. Did you ever see The Maze Runner? He was fantastic in it. He had a serious, very serious character in there that he played, and he was able to deliver on it on all cylinders. It was very action-packed. And then you turn around and you go to Teen Wolf when he's a nerd, he's a joker, he's like saying all of this stuff. So he is very, very all over the spectrum.
I gotcha. Frederick, counterpoint.
That's pretty heavy, Doc.
Frederick wins it. No, I'm kidding.
No,
Go ahead.
No, but I mean, Dylan O'Brien, come on. He doesn't even look like Marty McFly. He
doesn't
You don't have to
as
look
far
like
as
Marty
Marty
McFly.
McFly.
He's already cast as Teen Wolf, so you want to throw him into another Michael J. Fox role? He's going to be, he's going to have that weight on his shoulders all
That's the point.
the time. This guy just wants to be he's Michael J. Fox.
But
too. That's all he
didn't
is. That's all his
play-
career
He's not
will
playing
ever
Michael
be.
J. Fox's character.
If you look at Zac Efron in Neighbors,
In,
he's
Teen
funny.
Wolf.
He can be comical and he can be loose like that. I think Dylan O'Brien, he just doesn't have that. It's too much weight on one person to start. That's like casting someone in all of like Sean Connery's roles or something, and then you're just like.
Okay,
You're
Sean
expe-
Connery and Michael
There
J.
was-
Fox, as much as I love
There's a
the
bad
both
example
of
because
them,
I was watching
there's
Bond
a
before I
little-
came here.
All right.
But it's like you can't cast one actor in the same roles as another actor.
But this
Because then
wasn't
it's-
playing Michael J. Fox's role, correct?
No, he's not. He's just
He's
in
in
the
Teen
show.
Wolf, but he wasn't playing.
Oh, he's not.
wasn't
Okay, I
playing
haven't
Michael
seen
J.
Teen Wolf.
Fox.
He doesn't play the character.
No, he doesn't
okay.
play the character.
But he was in a Michael J. Fox property, so I mean, people could draw those comparisons.
Yeah.
You
So
get,
me having not seen it before, I already assumed.
sure. That's what
already-
people would assume. You got any other points on this?
In Neighbors, and This Is the End, or not This Is the End, That Awkward Moment, like, he was funny, yeah, but he didn't show any other depth of character. Like, he didn't show the serious side. He didn't show, like, any, like, dire, character traits. Like, he doesn't portray seriousness. I don't think he can do that as well. Like, he hasn't done it in movies. Like,
Dylan O'Brien can't be cast in Back to the Future because he needs to do Spider-Man. So stop trying to make it work.
Okay. Final argument, Frederick, anything to say?
I mean, Zac Efron, I feel like, has more of the loose Marty McFly feel to him than Dylan O'Brien. He flows better, and he's got the comical side of it down.
Okay. One final thought, anything?
I hate you.
It's heavy.
Okay.
It's heavy, Doc.
First of all, let me just say that I'm a little disappointed in these choices. Guys, to be honest.
I wanted
I
something.
said any actor from
I know, but
any era ever.
I didn't
You
want
could've
to
casted
rehash
like a
old
young
stuff.
Harrison Ford or a young like
But young Harrison
anybody.
Ford's not Marty McFly.
Marlon
Young Harrison Ford's
Brando.
badass Blade
You
Runner.
could have been anybody. that's an example. You
Han
could have
Solo.
anybody.
I
You could have
wanted
got
something
anybody
that
from
would-
anywhere, and you guys
Okay,
went with like
But
people who couldn't.
who was
play it
furthest
now.
from your mind? Zac Efron.
Zac Efron was pretty far out.
Exactly. That's what
Dylan
I'm
O'Brien
saying.
popped into my head. First one, I
Okay.
was like, you know what? That's perfect.
Okay, all right. I'll say this. Both you guys made really good arguments. Zac Efron, I actually can see playing a Marty McFly type. As he is getting older and maturing, I'm not done yet. As he's getting older and maturing, I think that he's a similar kind of character and
Build me
everything.
up to break me down right here, aren't you?
Dylan O'Brien, I have not seen as much work, and I think is a lot less known than Zac Efron. But that also means there's less stigma attached to him being a High School Musical, all in this together, that type of thing. So this is really tough. Man, I think that Porty made a tiny bit of a better argument.
Porty?
I said Porter.
Said Porty.
I said Porty? Porta potty?
potty.
Sorry. I didn't mean
Hey, you watch it.
I didn't mean to say that. I said Porter. I think you made it just a little bit. Do you want me to take away the points? Because I'm about to give it to you.
No, never mind.
All right,
I
Porty.
quoted-
I'll
I
be
quoted
Porty.
back to where were you with the quotes?
I'll be Porty. That's fine.
I'm going to give Porter the points on this, just barely. Frederick, I could actually see Zac Efron better, but I think that he made a little bit of a more wide-ranging, that he does a little bit more serious parts. Zac Efron hasn't done too many serious roles. He has a little bit, but I don't think he's bridged out on the more serious side. Marty
This is
McFly is a
his
light
chance.
character. I agree.
This is his chance to
Marty
do it.
McFly is a light character, but he still needs to have a serious side. And from what Porter says, I haven't seen a lot of his work, but Porter convinced me. So we're going to go with Dylan Bryan. Porter had it. I think you had it for a while, and then he started talking.
I like Dylan O'Brien too, so I mean, there's no wrong argument here. And it's when we're recasting Michael J. Fox, who's really
it's
right?
tough. You're right,
No
but that's
one-
why I
You got
did
a
it.
point.
Okay, so as of the points right now, Porter is in the lead with 6. Frederick, you got 4. And don't worry though, Frederick, because
Oh, I won't.
we are going into the lightning round, guys. Okay, now we move on to our lightning round here. The debaters will be asked a series of movie trivia questions worth 1 point each. Each of you will individually have 2 minutes to answer as many of the 20 questions we have prepared as you can. If you don't know an answer, you can pass at any time. We'll go with Frederick first. Frederick, are you ready?
I'll tell you what, I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Okay, remember you can always pass. It's either you answer all these questions in 2 minutes, or if you run out of time, it's just however many you get right in 2 minutes.
So just answer as many as I can in 2
As
minutes.
many as you can.
All right.
All right, we got
let's
20
do it.
questions here. We might be able to get through.
How now, brown cow?
Okay, you ready?
All right.
We're going. Which famous horror movie character killed people in their dreams?
That would be Freddy Krueger.
Correct. What was the name of the killer clown in Stephen King's It?
Oh, wait. Oh.
You could pass.
I'll pass on that one. I'll come back
Okay,
to it.
we can't come back. Name the movie from this quote. I feel like I've been in a coma for the past 20 years and I'm just now waking up.
Pass.
In Uncle Buck, what did Uncle Buck use to flip over a pancake?
Pass.
Who played the Penguin in Batman Returns?
Danny DeVito.
In the film Grease, who thought she was pregnant?
Riz.
Correct.
Couldn't think of her name for a second.
What was the name of the Indian maiden in Disney's animated Peter Pan movie?
Someone with T. Crap.
Want to pass?
Pass.
Name the movie from this quote. Say hello to my little friend.
That would be Scarface.
Correct. What was the woolly mammoth's name in the animated film Ice Age? We're at 105.
Pass.
What book is Forrest Gump's son reading at the end of the film?
Pass.
What color jacket is the little girl wearing in Schindler's List?
Red.
Yes. Who played Indiana Jones in the film series?
Harrison Ford.
Correct. What's the giant bunny's name in Donnie Darko?
Ooh, didn't even see Donnie Darko. Pass. I hate Jake Gyllenhaal.
Name the movie from this quote. You are not a beautiful and unique snowflake. 25 seconds.
I don't know. Pass.
Name the movie from these characters. James Bond, Vesper Lind, Lee Sheffrey, Felix Leiter, M.
James Bond.
Which
one?
movie? Which
Was
movie?
it Goldfinger?
No. Casino Royale. What prison is one of the Blues Brothers released from at the beginning of the film? We got 10 seconds.
Full House Prison?
Joliet Correctional Center. What is the name of the villainous character Rocky fights in Rocky 3 twice?
Booker. No.
1 second.
Booker Washington? No.
Clubber Lang.
Clubber Lang.
That's all we got.
Why did I?
Oh man.
Oh, that was a bad one.
You got 6 points.
I am
So right now you got
really
10.
bad with my
Those were
details.
brutal
You
on
got,
some of them.
you got 10.
What is the book that he was reading? In Forrest?
Curious George.
Wow.
Dude,
I
how
never
did you
would've
miss
known.
the Fight Club one? You were not a unique
Okay.
snowflake?
Wow.
All right, we got to
Come
move on here. Frederick's at 10 points. Porter, right now, you got 6. So all you need
four.
is
Or
5 to win.
Five to win. All right, you're going down.
We need
Okay.
one-
These
You
were
ready?
brutal, so I'm nervous.
You ready? And we're starting. In Halloween Resurrection, which rap star played a character who battled Michael Myers?
Coolio.
Busta Rhymes. In the original Friday the 13th, who was the killer?
The mom. The mother. Mrs. Voorhees.
Yes, correct. Jason's mom. What year was The Breakfast Club made in?
1989.
In 1985. What was the original name of this Star Wars character before he became Darth Vader?
Pass.
What?
Which Batman movie featured both the Riddler and Two-Face as the main villains?
What was that?
Which Batman movie featured both the Riddler and Two-Face as the main villains?
Batman Forever.
Correct. What is Orlando Bloom's character's name in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise?
These questions.
Pass.
What? Name the movie from this quote. Sanka, you dead?
Excuse me?
What? Name the movie from this quote. Sanka, you dead?
No idea.
Beauty Shop was a spin-off from which movie?
Barbershop.
Correct. What is the name of the janitor from the Breakfast Club?
Carl.
Correct. You're tied right now. What is the name of Quint's boat in Jaws?
Pass.
Name the movie from this quote. Run, it's a stampede.
Jumanji.
Correct, and that's it. Porter wins it.
Skywalker.
Yeah, I was spinning all over the place. How do you get Anakin
When you said
Skywalker?
original name, I thought like what his original production name was going to be, and then they changed it like pre-production.
That was a very clear question.
I don't know, man.
Well, you won anyway.
I would
Porter
have
wins.
questions I would have had. All of them.
I tried to make it.
There was a
as
lot
easy
on
as-
yours that I was like, come on, how do you not know that?
Porter
Which
wins that
question?
one. Very tight race there, guys,
a lot of fun.
in the debates, though. So
Gotta keep it
great
tight.
job.
I'm so happy I
Keep
didn't
it
get that
tight.
Schindler's List one. Never saw that.
Red? Okay.
I was pulled it out of my butt.
Well, I'd like to thank Frederick Brazzale and Bryan Porter, the winner for today, for debating with us. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's been real. Hope you guys have you back very soon. Be on the lookout for new episodes of Real Debates and more Real Reviews in the coming weeks. Be sure to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Remember, if it's not debated here, it just isn't real. I'm Walter Panasiak. Until next time, keep that great debate alive.